Hey, everybody, it's Chris Steele
And Richard Learmont?
here today talking about enlightening conversations. Uh, we enjoy these conversations because they kind of play off one another. And the evolution today is kind of what we were just talking about, Richard, is how business is breaking down. There's problems and challenges, and you know, business as usual these days, business that's acceptable these days, is not holistically or systemically sustainable. I mean, is that a good response toward where we were going about lack of effective business in that context?
Yeah. I would say so. The way the intention of how our society been approaching business is it's been so much with the greed intention, and we're looking at it. I'm speaking about it collectively. Okay, of course there are individuals and there are, groups of people who are exempt from this, but or who approach it differently. But but on the whole, there's greed a greedy way of going about, this survival, survival of the fittest type of, you know, uh, intention and behavior around how we make money. And so this old way is breaking down. And we're seeing that more and more that it's becoming necessary to really take care of your people, your team, the people you're working with, the connections that you're having, the emotional connection, the awareness around, how, what each person really is bringing to the table, the roles that we play, um, what your skills are, what your limitations are, and how these things are navigated and communicated, with respect. All of these things are really, really important to create functionality in the new kinds of businesses that are necessary for this new world that's opening up for us. There's something old that's dying, and the new thing that's emerging. Uh, this is the way we need to relate to each other. To have functionality and success in that sense, where you're happy doing what you're doing. Everyone's pretty much happy in the place doing what they love to do, and and it's a totally different way in which the business leaders need to really learn how to manage their people.
So
Yeah.
is that what it comes down to is leadership? I mean, in the context of this discussion, when I think about business, I think about a global business. I think about China that's copying things really well and they're thriving. I think about the GDP of America, the United States, and got a great gross national product. We're kicking out a lot of stuff, lots of consumerism happening. Um, but is it more a function of the of kind of the individual in business as a leader and like Henry Ford did, right? He'll tell you if he was alive to talk about it, he'll tell you that the secret to his success is he surrounded himself by people that were smarter than he was.
Hmm.
You know,
Absolutely.
is that what it is?
Well, yeah. I mean, we still want to have the growth in GDP and creating products and stuff, but we want to create products as well that's sustainable, that really is not destroying our planet, and we're not creating more destruction based out of greed. That's the greedy mentality. It doesn't care. So yes, we want to have growth. We want to make more. We want to keep progressing in that sense, but not from the place of where we're destroying our relationships, where we're destroying each other, where we're doing it in, this cat and dog kind of, you know, old way of operating, taking one down. And I mean, you're going to have that, in business, yes, but I think we need to shift the the pendulum a little bit, bringing it into more balance in terms of how we're relating to each other. That's it's where it needs to go, and I
So
think that's
okay,
where it's going.
I'm gonna challenge you. I love this because I want to challenge one another. And I'm gonna say some stuff that isn't necessarily congruent with what I believe, but I'm gonna say it anyway because it's the reality of what we live in. So here we are, and you're right. There's an ideal, right? That we work together, we collaborate, and we have good leadership in it. And then I could go outside right now and confront somebody on the street who doesn't want that. He has little regard for that, right?
Mhm.
I think you and I agree on a lot of things in business, right? I agree around sustainability when it comes to sustaining a business, making it healthy, sustaining the environment and everything. There's some people that really don't have any regard for that. You know, they'll take advantage of the environment to optimize their condition, right? And who am I to judge, right? Who am I to pass judgment on whether or not that's good business or bad business? I could probably tell you, since, species in the rainforest are going extinct because we're not managing that resource effectively, that's a bad thing. But you can have somebody who's got a different belief around business who thinks it's actually a good thing because it's allowing us to be able to have the resources we need to thrive energetically and things like that. How do you confront this conversation and make it so it's a good conversation as a leader?
I'm sort of relating more to when we look at businesses today, and you go to any small business, for example, 3 to 5 people or 10 people, and one of the things that you recognize is when we come together with the other, there's something happening. When you and another person are interacting, something happens because it's very different than when you're by yourself. We know that. And when you meet that other person, this exchange that's going on that shifts the dynamic than when you with yourself. Now you bring a third person or a fourth person in, and the dynamic changes again. Okay, and you might be with people and you notice like, oh, this person there, I don't like the way they're speaking. I don't like their vibe, or I like this one's vibe. That one's so cool. We get along really well, and you have this sort of dynamics going on all the time. And this is what's going on in the office, and there's a science to this. There's a understanding how these energetic dynamics, what's going on, what's at play. That's what I study. That's what I look into. That's what, I bring to business leaders and let them understand how these people, when they show up in your field, what's going on. We can see very specifically what happens, what they're bringing to the table. And this is imperative for any business leader to have today. And it's not something that we're used to, or any business leader used to having such specific, detailed information about how this other person that comes into your field, how they make decisions, how you're here to communicate with them, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are their limitations, and understanding, and also for the leader themselves. When you understand your limitations, then this makes a better leader, because then how you have a much better way of how you can delegate, and so this is really important. This is what creates functionality within the team, and the science of it is beautiful, and the solution is it really works. It's spot on. And it's a gift for any business leader today. And
and just backing you up, it's about understanding yourself, understanding ourselves as humans, and operating a business today, confronting the world the way it is, where there's motives that may not align with our motives. But if you can create a business model to provide value and exchange value, and it's congruent with your purpose, I'll call it that, or your essence, or your beingness, and then you can surround yourself by other people that also have that same level of actualization, self-actualization, then you can pretty much do just about anything, as long as you have an intention and a kind of a plan and a construct, and you execute with effectiveness, right? Which is what business is about, right?
Absolutely. And that's one of the beautiful things too, that we can actually see when you're a team together. Let's say you have a team of 4 or 5 people come together, your leadership team, and you can actually see who brings this element of vision, who carries this particular quality that holds the vision, that holds the commitment, that holds the sales, that holds the PR. And these are actually energies that we actually bring into the circle of this small group of people. And when any of them's missing from the energetically from the construct of the team, then we can see where the gaps are. We can see where the issues are, where money is being, going through the window, where a lot of energy is being spent to try to make things work. And there we have very simple solutions to really to resolve those issues and to guide the process.
I love it. This is good. It's always good talking to you, just to kind of baseline it. And I guess my challenge at this point, Richard, is that I mean, if anybody's listening to this or watching this and everything, it's time for us to confront ourselves and look at ourselves in the condition of business, right? Everything that we talked about. It's good to. I like to think that these reflections, these enlightening conversations, are allow people to have a kind of a mirror, a construct of it, so they can see themselves and how they believe business is done and should be done, and how well and congruent they are to be able to make that difference as a leader in the context of business, right?
Absolutely. And, you know, not to forget that this is not just some sort of a spiritual or woo-woo talk about, you know, philosophy. You know, this is a very practical, pragmatic thing that's implemented in showing the team like very specific things like, hey, this is how this person likes to be communicated with. This is how you need to communicate with them. These are some of the things that you can go around and how to get them to really be more efficient and more effective. I mean, very, very specific tools and easy to use. It's, you know, you don't have to be mental about it. It's just like you apply it and you'll see it works like clockwork. And as a leader, having these tools, my goodness, it makes your life so much easier. Now you know you can, you know, it's not, you know, you don't have to, you know, you can understand why this person is forgetting and maybe they're in the wrong place. You know, it's the wrong role for them, and we can show you these things with very specific tools.
Yeah, it's no more guesswork. You're actually the science of the human element and the who we are as humans psychologically as well as spiritually. You know, you can unpack that and allow us to be able to know ourselves so that we can be as effective as possible. So again, thank you for what you do, Richard, in that context.
And in fact, it's called the science of differentiation. The science of differentiation is beautiful.
Cool. Let's do more of that. So till next time, Richard, any conclusion you'd like to make?
Oh my goodness. Well, no, thank you so much. You know, I really I love having these little these conversations with you. You know, it's you're so good at it. You know? I love your questions. I love your, you know, your perspective, and yeah.
That's cool. Back at you.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work.
Okay.
I like the cut of your jib, man. Let's keep it going.
You got it.